Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Anju Sadev. I'm the Research and Education Director for the Clinical Support Services Group at Barts Health. That includes imaging, pharmacy, pathology, clinical physics and therapies. We have an extensive portfolio of studies that we support across Barts Health, including our own research projects. My personal interest in research within Barts Health includes gynecology and urology, particularly the oncological side. I also have a strong interest in endocrinology. In gynecology, my main interest is in research projects that include the assessment of therapy and disease response. And for urology, really the development of new and novel traces, both for staging and therapy of urological cancers. For endocrinology, I have a wide, mainly body interest, looking at the adrenal gland and the syndromes that Barts is very well renowned for. For endocrinology, Barts has a worldwide reputation for endocrinology. My interests here are mainly for body imaging, looking at the unique syndromes that we see in Barts Health, and also for a generalised adrenal imaging. In the coming 18 months, we would like to see a development of our portfolio for primary studies at Barts Health in both imaging, pathology and in therapies. For this to happen, I'm very keen to see an increase in collaboration with our commercial partners and also our academic partners at UMUL. For us, research is an important adjunct to our service lines, and we would like to see this develop so that all our patients can benefit from the research trials that are conducted throughout Barts Health. I'd like to thank our collaborators from the Barts and the London Medical School, and also our joint research medical office at Barts Health. Finally, I'd like to thank all our patients who allow us to conduct the research, and if it wasn't for their generosity, we wouldn't really be able to further our research projects. Thank you.
Lines of thought and clinical research is a very well-defined relationship amongst our researchers in clinical support services. They have been able to support an excess of 400 clinical trials taking place not just within one hospital but 5. Within clinical support services, there are 5 main departments. The research hub for the Department of Imaging, which includes radiology and nuclear medicine, takes place at St. Bartholomew's Hospital, while we have majority of our pathology studies as well as their research hub being operated at the Royal London site. As the clinical research lead for clinical support services, I'm very proud to be part of a team that not just supports 12 other specialties within the institution, but also carries out a great deal of primary research, currently focusing on various elements of clinically driven objectives and endpoints. We have a very enthusiastic team of researchers who have their own expertise that bring out the best in trial protocols and research projects, which is fantastic because a variety is always better than focusing on one element, as it gives many options to our patients, not just within the current population but also in the future. To me, research means pushing boundaries to make discoveries which are groundbreaking, and I think we are at an institution where it is very well supported, and I hope that we continue to grow and develop not just within clinical support services but also as an institution.
Nuclear medicine is a branch of imaging which uses radioisotopes. which are also called radionuclides, for imaging the functions of the body. It's a very diverse field, and there is quite a big scope of research within nuclear medicine. There are different biomarkers which are changing the world of imaging. Research is like an obsession, that you have questions in your mind and you want to explore those and demonstrate that you have the ability to answer those questions, and most importantly go through the process of getting those answers right.
Hi, I'm the clinical lead at Bart's Health Diagnostic Imaging Department. Okay, what research means to me in diagnostic imaging really has two avenues. There's the support for the clinical research, where imaging is the final endpoint for many studies, particularly oncology studies. But also there's intrinsic research within diagnostic imaging. Because diagnostic imaging, it has a very heavy technical bias, and obviously with technical advances there's a constant need to update our procedures and indeed our diagnostic abilities based on those technical advances. And that actually is the more interesting aspect of research when it comes to diagnostic imaging.
Welcome to the Department of Pathology. This is the place where the diagnosis gets made. It's responsible for 70% of all diagnoses made in the NHS. It is an integral part of the NHS, and in pathology we have a tremendous opportunity to do this because we make the diagnosis, we have the material, there is the ability for us then to look at new ways of improving and delivering a better service. So to me, research is fundamental to everything we do.
Hi there, I'm the radiology lead for the hemato-oncology trials taking place here at Bart's Health Trust, the hub of which is St Bartholomew's Hospital. I'm involved in a number of up to 40 trials that are taking place in the hemato-oncology unit, several of which have been presented at international conferences such as the American Society of Clinical Oncology. We perform trial reporting on the patients within these trials, and trial reporting is ever evolving process. Some of the criteria that we use are evolving all the time. Research for me means developing and bringing into clinical practice the best possible care that we can give our patients. It is an important part of developing new treatments in patients that only 30 or 40 years ago were deemed incurable. So for me to be involved in such a process is not only an honour but very satisfying in terms of the patient care that I can deliver.
The radiation safety section provides radiation protection advice and support for all uses of radiation in medicine, both within the trust and to external customers. We also provide scientific support to diagnostic radiology, and we can work with the clinical teams in radiology to work on helping to optimise their imaging in terms of patient dose and image quality. My research interests are in the use of scattered radiation. Scattered radiation is often thought of as a problem in diagnostic imaging, but in fact it can contain information about the structure of the material we're imaging because it's actually interacted with the tissue. And we've had several successful research projects looking at the use of energy dispersive X-ray diffraction, which is a form of scattered X-rays, in order to characterise tissue, illegal drugs and other contraband materials.
So we are clinical physics. We have teams working in radiotherapy, medicine physics. We have teams working in vascular science and vascular ultrasound. We have teams working in imaging, in magnetic resonance imaging and PET-CT in particular, as well as some innovative research going on in medical device development. I think the reasons are mainly that it's due to the collaborative nature of working with medical teams and academic researchers in the healthcare science, which gives me this wonderful opportunity to understand some of the very modern techniques which are around for diagnostic and therapeutic purposes, to get to understand how they work, and most interestingly of all, I think, is actually to understand their problems, the researchers' problems, and how they have some limitations which maybe we could assist them in overcoming by the application of physics and engineering to their research.
Clinical research here at Barts Health Trust partners with the university at Barts and the London School of Medicine and Dentistry, and as one of the senior lecturers within the haematology department, I'm part of a team that delivers clinical research and translational research here. We have some fantastic opportunities for patients, their families and our clinical teams to participate in cutting-edge science and clinical trials. We're starting to offer gene therapy trials and novel agents in the haemophilia world, on the red cell world for sickle cell disease and thalassemia. There's some new exciting studies as well. We try to support other departments such as trauma who get involved in bleeding issues around the very challenging area of trauma. The NIHR now has a very important vehicle for delivery of research called the NIHR Portfolio, and I'm one of the specialty leads for haematology for this part of London. That network of trials and the infrastructure that supports that opens up research opportunities to many more people, both in our own hospital and neighbouring hospitals, many hospitals that have never been involved in research before. So from Barts Health Trust we try to deliver good and wide, broad portfolio of studies here at the hospital, as well as supporting studies elsewhere in our local vicinity. I hope you enjoy the channel and what we offer here at Barts Health. Research to patients often sounds experimental and uncertain, but actually the clinical trials that we deliver here at Barts Health are part of a programme of delivering clinical trials after all the very experimental parts of trials have been undertaken. Although there's still uncertainty about the actual effectiveness of some of these treatments and possible toxicity, we select trials very carefully as to the most exciting and important opportunities for our patient groups. Without trials and clinical trials in hospitals like ours, medicine would never move forward, and we need to partner with our pharma companies, our scientists and the patients and families to understand which trials are best for trials within our unit. We hope that the portfolio that we offer both in red cell haematology, hemostasis and thrombosis, as well as more general haematology trials, is of interest to our patient group and actually starts to change the future of medicine and their opportunities in the short and medium term.